Hello, I will warn you in advance. Um, I sound terrible. I do not have COVID. I just have really bad allergies today, so bear with me. I titled my lesson All About Coins. My standards, I had two numbers and operation math standards about identifying and determining the value of coins, a reading standard, and an ISTE standard. My objectives: students will investigate the importance of understanding money value through reading the book. Students will construct knowledge of coin value by completing a Kahoot quiz, and students will demonstrate the use of technology by playing an online game and completing a Kahoot quiz. So, my assessments, I'll go over these during the lesson, but we do have the formative assessment that is the Kahoot quiz. It will not be graded, and then there's going to be a 6-question test at the end for the summative assessment, and it will be for a grade. It will be 50 points, and each question will be worth the same amount of points. The hook, I chose a YouTube video. It is a money video. They can get up and dance. We'll play it at the beginning before we do anything else. That way they are engaged in the lesson. And then, of course, this will begin the learning objectives of being able to identify the coins. So after the video, so that they get something out of it, I'll ask them how much the coins are worth. The I do of the lesson, it's really a we do thing together, but I will lead it. We will make an anchor chart together. I can write penny, and then they can say it's 1 cent, and then I can write the other versions of the value like I did, and then I will say to count pennies, we'll count by ones, and then they'll count by ones with me, and so on. After creating the anchor chart together, that'll just be kind of an introduction and get their brains going, and get them ready to take the Kahoot quiz for the formative assessment. This will let me know their comprehension of coins before we move on to the rest of the lesson. After that, we will read the Berenstein Bears Dollars and Cents book together. It's about the Berenstein kids. The brother and sister, they get an allowance and they just struggle with spending it right away, and they don't understand, they have no concept of money. So instead of giving the Berenstein Bear children all the money at once, the parents, oh my, the parents find a way, I'll continue talking while I'm figuring this out. The parents figure out a way to help the kids, here we go, help the kids, grasp the concept of money and how to save it and when to spend it and so on. So before I'll ask them questions, do you get an allowance? Do you have a penny bank? Are you good at saving money? Do you like to spend it as soon as you get it? During the book, I'll pause, ask questions to keep them get engaged, make sure they're still paying attention. What would you do in this situation? Would you do this? Would you do what the brother did? Would you do what the sister did? Things like that. And then afterward, I'll ask them what they learned from the book. And they should have learned quite a bit, because I think there's also, it's been a while since I read the book, but I'm pretty sure he talks about keeping a check register and learning about checks and stuff, and I don't think kids are really taught that anymore. So they should definitely learn quite a bit from this book, between comprehension skills for the reading part and number talk. The you do of this portion, students will play a fun money bingo game on ABC Yaw. I'll explain the rest of that later. They will get a lot out of that game. The link's there if you want to look at it. The lesson closure, to tie their learning together and refocus students on the objective. They'll complete the summative assessment. That's the 6 questions that cover everything the students should have learned and now know from the lesson. The 6 questions are they do cover each level of the blooms. So for my accommodations and modifications, on the money bingo game, You have the choice of what coins or bills you want to use, what you want to play with. So before you start the game, you can choose if you want to play with just pennies or pennies and nickels or pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. So for the students with intellectual abilities or the ones that are just below level, they can choose what they're independently able to do. So if all they know is pennies, then that's fine. I don't want this to be a discouraging thing. This can be a kind of fun, just brain refresher before their summative assessment. Um, for the gifted students, they can go as high as they know to do. Even if I haven't covered $1 bills in class, which I probably have not, if they know how to count cash, then they can go ahead because it does cover all the coins and all the amounts of cash. And then on the Kahoots, so those are some modifications. An accommodation would be for the Kahoot quiz. You can choose the time that the students have to answer the questions. So if somebody has ADHD, they have trouble focusing, they need a little bit more time, or with intellectual abilities, they need some more time to take tests. That way they don't feel rushed and just hurry and pick an answer. They can actually think and get the answer correct. So I would adjust the amount of time to have the students answer the questions. And that is my lesson. So thank you.